I remember I'd been saying this. I remember I saw an article. I believe it was in 2017. It could have been 2015, but I think it was like 2017. Might have been in Politico or something like that, that was outlining a little bit about this. I remember looking at that and just kind of saying, wow, what a sick rich guy.
Yeah.
And then kind of went
right,
on
you move
with
on.
things.
And what a bad guy. Because they tried to shape this. His lawyers, his PR people tried to shape this as creepy. And yeah, he had youngish girls coming in and giving massages. Yeah, it became sexual, but they're all of age. They all consented. And they tried to make it look like, okay, he was just taking advantage of poor girls on the other side of the tracks. But that's just a tiny piece of this. I mean, Ghislaine Maxwell was going to universities and recruiting women. They had trips to Eastern Europe to identify models and telling them that they could be Victoria's Secret models because of the Les Wexner connection. And, you know, along the way, I'm sure they're picking up whomever they could possibly pick up to be a part of this and to bring them to the island, to bring them to the mansion, to bring them to the Palm Beach estate. You know, we were talking about hundreds, if not thousands of women, of girls here, children.
Yeah, and with the latest drop of Epstein files, like I've looked at this case religiously since 2019. Yeah. It's because it's actually even way more than just the underage sex trafficking. There's a million things going on with it. That's just the worst part of it, or what I should say we thought was the worst part of it. And now when you read these emails, there are all kinds of things on the table that I can't confirm yet or anything, but the fact that they're even on the table is a possibility.
Oh, I agree. I see them too. I mean, I've got multiple sources feeding me information. You know, like you have people who are online sleuths who have ways of tapping into different things that I don't have necessarily the knowledge to do. And these things come my way and I evaluate them and first of all, try to see if it's true or not and does it make sense. And then what do I do with it? You know, I've never held anything back ever for anyone and never will. So, but you also have to view this in a way that this is a unique situation, right? If I had my druthers as a reporter, I would want the criminal files on every high-profile criminal case, from Guthrie going back my entire career. But the reason those files typically aren't released is because they contain unverified information. And they contain information where there wasn't enough probable cause to get a warrant and to start a criminal prosecution.
Yes.
So in our society, we have said that if that doesn't exist, then those files, that information, that investigative material should not be released to the public because you can damage somebody's reputation whose activities did not rise to the threshold of criminal prosecution. So this is unique.
Yes.
We usually don't get stuff like this. Unverified raw information. And so that adds, look, I'm not standing up for anybody in the Epstein files, but it does add a layer of responsibility for guys like you, guys like me, and across the board to make sure we're not accusing something that we can't back up. Yeah. Because it would not surprise me that Epstein falsified some of this stuff, made things look worse than they were to establish some blackmail plot. And I'm sure he squeezed a lot of people for money and other things because he had something or could threaten something, true or not.